So next we're going to hear from the delegate speakers and then also from as many of you from the floor as possible. As I said before, if you could keep those comments as tweetable as possible. So let's introduce the councillors. Now first up is somebody who is a fantastic writer, author, journalist, women's rights activist, has been a big supporter of One Young World, has just completed her second book, and we're delighted to welcome back to One Young World, Fatima Bhutto. I'm good at this, the sort of here comes and then they don't. Yes, where's Fatima?
She was backstage.
All right, she was backstage. Anyway,
there she is. She's there.
Fatima Bhutto.
From China, CCTV News anchor, UN AIDS Goodwill Ambassador, and the leading HIV and AIDS activist. Great to welcome him back for the second time, James Chow.
So James, we're doing it in reverse order.
The investor and former global chief executive of EMI, long-time friend and supporter of One Young World, back for the third year running, Elio Leone Shetty.
And then finally, somebody who actually went on my Clout profile, the #1 content that I retweet is Mashable. Pete Cashmore, founder of Mashable, one of the Time 100 most influential people, and a phenomenal digital and social entrepreneur. Pete Cashmore.
So would you welcome all of the councillors? Are we bringing up the delegate speakers? Give them a round of applause, the first 6 delegate speakers. Okay, so returning councillors know the drill. You know who you're introducing the delegate speakers. When they've finished, we'll ask you as councillors to go to the floor. You'll each take up one of the microphones. There are 2 over there, 2 over there. Delegates who want to comment on the session will queue at the microphone. As David said, we do need you to be very brief and we will cut you off, but we've left more time for that. And then when we call the councillors from the floor, if councillors would like to make a concluding remark on something they've heard that they feel will be helpful in rounding things up or moving things on before you go to the pledge. Councillors, take it away.
Thanks so much, One Young World, for hosting us. It's incredibly exciting to see so many young people doing so many great things in the world. I have the great honor of introducing one of those people. Alberto Matus, is a computer technician and a freelance web designer. He was born and raised in Belize in Central America. Beginning at the age of 10, Alberto worked at an automotive garage and put himself through his primary and high school years. He later received a scholarship to attend a junior college and received an associate's degree in network administration and hardware. Through his studies, Alberto has developed a great passion for the digital world. He's fascinated by programming languages like JavaScript, PHP, HTML, CSS. He also has a deep interest in open source systems and content management. Through his education, he's attained the skills that have enabled him to support his family and to continue his studies so that one day he'll be using the latest technology to develop and disseminate new ideas. Today he'll be speaking about education, specifically about literacy, and discuss its critical connection to many major global issues. So I'm delighted to welcome Alberto Matus.
Hi guys. Whoa. Respected councillors and fellow delegates, we're talking education. One of our most basic fundamental rights is that to an education. And the right to education includes the right to literacy. Literacy leads to empowerment. That's the key, empowerment. There are several other plenary sessions here at this summit, each addressing global issues and challenges. That is why we must realize that literacy is an integral part in addressing these challenges. Economic growth, food security, human rights, sustainability, health, just to mention a few. That's your wake-up call. Although the rise of literacy over the past 2 decades shows an increase, even more so in developing countries, according to UNESCO statistics, there is still the issue that almost 1 in every 5 adults is without literacy skills. Not to mention poverty, health, employment, warfare, gender, and many others are barriers which we must face. So what can we do? I've always been an ICT enthusiast. Ladies and gentlemen, today it is but a fact that these technologies are vital and essential. We live in a fast-changing, digital, innovative age whereby many of literacy instruction methods now advocate the use of authentic, real, and life literacy materials, many revolving around technology. So how can we tie both education and technology together? I come from a small developing country. Compared to you guys, it's, wow, like a town, just like how Pete told me earlier. Many rural schools are left out when it comes to ICT, but we initiated a movement called Belize Primary Wireless Web Labs. The end result is to connect all primary schools in Belize to the internet, even those in the most remote areas. We acknowledge that in today's age, it is important to bridge the gap between education and ICT to eliminate the digital divide and help foster better education, instilling strong roots of literacy. As Hector Ruiz, former chairman of AMD, said, technology is only as powerful as it is accessible. Broader access brings education, information, and a sense of community that can help combat AIDS, malnutrition, ignorance, and neglect. The power of a connected and enlightened world community is just the beginning. In order to achieve our goal, we are using low-cost hardware and wireless technologies, green alternatives such as solar panels, free online educational collaborational tools, and many open-source applications and platforms. Bottom line is, we believe that there should be equal access for all, no matter where you are. We started with a pilot program involving 30 primary schools. 14 of those, mission accomplished. It has impacted over 5,000 children directly and many indirectly. It may seem a little compared to where you guys come from, but in my country, a little is a lot. While students have perhaps 5% of a teacher's time during the course of a day, these students now have at least 80% internet access during the course of the day. That's 18 times better. The textbook plus classroom approach in today's age is limited. Technology is no substitute for an inspiring teacher, but if used effectively and efficiently, students can have interactive, virtual, simulating, and collaborative learning platforms. They can learn at their own time and pace. They have their own private tutor at their fingertips with current information. The web is filled with vast amount of free, open educational tools, and we need to take advantage of these now. Organizations such as O&ER Commons, Open Educational Resources, are following the open source movement. They are creating free educational materials and sharing it on the web. These students are not only improving in computer literacy, but they are becoming informed, researching about health issues, and many more. The web and technology is becoming the catalyst for education. I invite young leaders here today, especially educators, if you're in that sector, to push for ICT into education. If you come from a developing country like I challenge you to do the same. And if you're from one of those countries who has already succeeded in the area, I challenge you, introduce us models, frameworks, which you guys have used so that we can adapt and make the best out of these in our countries. Secondly, let us challenge global business giants to tap into our countries. It fosters the development and growth of the nation. And in the end, there are surely profits to be made. Lastly, and most importantly, we must become active in creating effective curriculum methods while integrating the use of technology. What use is technology in education if there are no fruitful results? We must develop measurable goals, objectives to calculate our achievements over a time span. It requires strategic planning, joint collaboration. I want you to think, if education is about knowledge and intellectual skills, then information and communication technologies is at the heart of it all. I'll leave you with what John F. Kennedy said once. Let us think of education as a means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us, there is a private hope and dream, which fulfilled can be translated into the benefit for everyone and the greater strength of our nation. Thank you.
Excellent. In my 3 years with One Young World, I had the occasion to meet many incredible people. You delegates are absolutely fantastic, and we've been very lucky to meet some of you. And this morning it's my pleasure to introduce to you one more excellent, incredible person who has developed his literacy and learnings into great countries with great schools, but this hasn't prevented him from getting involved and engaged into the importance of literacy for disadvantaged youth. Steve Mitchellmore from Canada will tell us about a project, Pathways, that he has been involved with, and how this can and will change the way that literacy impacts the people of this disadvantaged youth, and how can this be grown and exported into a number of models. Steve?
Thank you, Elio. Good morning. Let's try that again. Good morning. Well, I do have some bad news. I'm not a rock star, haven't started a bank, and not president of a country, or have I been? I'm still holding out hope on the whole rock star thing, but I'm still young, so we'll see. But the good news is I do want to expose you to a tremendous program that is having impact on literacy and education across disadvantaged communities in Canada. Literacy is one of the best predictors of future school success, and through improving literacy, we can change the trajectory of so many young people's lives. Now, Pathways to Education is one such program that I feel can have this impact, and I want to share it with you. Their goal is to focus on students from low-income communities, where the dropout rate is in some cases 3 times higher than the national average. Now, the program's foundation is built off of a contract between students, teachers, and the parents to form a shared responsibility to drive success for students. The program has 4 key elements: financial, academic, social, and mentoring. Academic support in the form of tutoring after class and core academic subjects. Financial support in the form of scholarships and bursaries, so that when these kids succeed, they have the financial means to pursue post-secondary education. Social support in the form of group mentoring activities to help with problem solving and different problems they're going to face. And finally, one-on-one mentoring by staff to help not only with success in the classroom, but also success at home and in the community. Now, the program has a really elegant and comprehensive model, but it's their ability to galvanize the community and work with strategic partners that are already in place to really drive change and get everybody behind, because it takes an ecosystem of support to improve literacy in communities. Now, the program has had a tremendous impact, in some cases dropping the dropout rate by as much as 70%, going from 50% to as low as 10% in some communities. Now, my belief in this program, though, it goes beyond just the impact it's been able to have. My grandparents grew up in northern Canada, and they weren't able to get past grade 6 with their education. My father, although he graduated grade 12, a test showed he was only able to read at a grade 6 level at the time. Now, I too struggled with reading and enunciation when I was young, but the difference was my parents and my community saw that early, and they put me in touch with the support, the one-on-one help, both in the classroom and outside the classroom with one-on-one tutoring to make sure I didn't fall behind my fellow classmates. I had access to the same 4 key elements that the Pathways program provides. But at any step along the journey, if one of those elements wasn't there, I too could have faced the same obstacles that prevented my grandparents and my parents from succeeding. Now, my father is now a very successful entrepreneur, and I'm extremely proud of him. But it's his story that motivates me to take advantage of every opportunity I've been given. Because who knows, with the resources and support that I've been given, if he had it, what he could have accomplished. Now, what it also motivates me for is to try to help those less fortunate gain access to the resources and support that I was afforded. And through my employer, the Boston Consulting Group, we've been able to help Pathways by quantifying the social benefit the program has had. Now, what we showed is for every $1 invested in this program, $25 comes back to the society at large. And the return is in the form of higher employment, higher tax revenue for that employment, lower costs associated with social programs, improved health, so reduced healthcare costs for the government. This study showed that the benefits are real, and it's helped them garner both private and public support so they can focus on sustaining and growing the impact they've had in these communities. The program now is in 11 sites and 4,000 students are affected, with plans to grow to 17 sites and 7,000 students in the near future. I want to read to you a message from a recent Pathways graduate that I think perfectly personifies the message. And I quote, "Growing up in my community can be challenging. Avoiding the potential influence of drugs and crime. Pathways is like your parents. It can be tough. There are high expectations, and we must always do our very best. In return, we are supported through whatever trials and challenges we face." I think the key message there is support. They feel it, they see it, they believe in it. That if they put the time in and the effort, and they face those challenges, they're going to be given the support by the community to break through those barriers. I've been a youth coach of basketball and baseball, I've been a mentor, I've been an academic tutor, and I've seen the power that one-on-one help and mentoring youth can have on their future and their belief. I want to leave my fellow ambassadors with this message, that education and literacy will not improve without an ecosystem of support. I encourage each ambassador passionate about improving literacy to mobilize to action. 2 actions to consider when you go back to your communities. 1, find ways to mentor youth, either through existing social programs or create your own. Find ways to show people that there's hope. People that they see you were there in their shoes 10, 20 years ago, and look what you've been able to accomplish. That hope and belief is so powerful. So go back, connect with the youth in your communities. The second is find social programs similar to Pathways, where you can bring your intellect, your academic backgrounds to really help quantify the benefits that those programs have had, to help garner both public and private support so they can focus on really truly having impact and not worrying about mobilizing the funds just to keep their programs going. To improve literacy, there is no silver bullet. Youth today cannot improve literacy on their own, just as my grandparents couldn't, my parents couldn't, and I certainly couldn't. We need to put in place a network that provides social, financial, academic, and mentoring support to unlock the path for success for youth today. Because the return is the best investment we can make in our future. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy today. 3 things. First of all, to hear Kate say last night at the opening that education was the most in-demand subject here, chosen by the delegates and the delegate speakers here at One Young World. Secondly, that when I met my delegate speaker early in the morning, as much as he told me about himself, he was more interested in asking about our own experiences as councillors. I think to ask questions, to challenge, to discover is such a critical component in developing our capacity to think and to learn. learn, which is what we're all here to do together. And the third thing, then, in a very short period of time, I found him to be such a gracious and very, very warm person. So very, very happy, very honored to be introducing today Sujit Lalwani. He's from Bangalore in southern India. He's 25 years old. He's an author. He can add that title to his self-description now because his book has just been published, I think, in the last couple of weeks in India. And he's also an entrepreneur. So for the last year and a half, he's been the head of a company called Inspiration Unlimited. Well, that's enough for all of us to sit up and listen. And under this company, he has 5 distinct brands, including social media solutions, web designing, an e-magazine that went in its first month from 5 writers and 100 readers to last month going to 50-something writers, including established authors, and 20,000 visitors to his e-magazine in 1 month. And also, just to connect that all together, the new and the traditional, his company also produces handmade greeting cards where he engages with local communities where they produce abstract art for that. So all very, very interesting. When I asked him what education means to him, he used 2 phrases. One, the word values, and secondly, that we don't reinvent the wheel for the next generation. Then I asked him whether he himself had a good education. He smiled and said yes, but he also says that education is a birthright of every individual and that is the responsibility of community. So even us as a community in this room all together to ensure that we have an educated and an informed global family. Last night, you remember that Professor Muhammad Yunus talked about why we live in an exciting generation. I love how we're including ourselves in with everybody else. That we live in a post-Cold War, post-Soviet Union, post-apartheid world. What he also means, of course, is exciting that we all live in a digital age with the opportunities and the possibilities that that all presents. So tying that all together, I asked Sujit what he's going to talk to us about. And he said education today is twofold. The challenges are twofold. He's going to talk about wiping out literacy, but also wiping out computer literacy. So welcome to your stage, not just someone who's brilliant, but someone whose projects have grown all out of his 3 years together with One Young World, Sujit Lalwani.
My mother, my teacher, and all my friends taught me when I was a child that one half of the world enjoys day while the other half enjoys night. It's light somewhere, it's darkness on the other side. Until 3 years ago, I believed they were all right and they were all true in what they said. But when I started coming to One Young World, I went back home and I started telling people, you haven't been to this conference where I go where 180 countries at the same time enjoy a morning. Very good morning, one and all, to you. A very good morning to everyone. Very good morning. I had pretty much prepared a speech. I had written it down. I had rehearsed so many times. But with counselors like these and delegates like yourself, it's pretty sure that I would forget everything on the paper. And if I go to take assistance of this, either I talk to this or I talk to you. So I prefer talking to you all right now. So before I start, esteemed counselors, event organizers, my fellow change makers, and I know a lot of people are watching this live around the world. A warm namaste to all of them around the globe, and warm greetings to each and every one who is watching us right now. Computer illiteracy and literacy and education. I'm really glad right now to take a little bit of all your time, about 6 minutes that I've been given. Pretty hard to take that much as well. Education, I'm personally passionate about for a very big reason, because it does not need ways to do it. Each of us, whether we accept or not, we are educating others. At this moment, 180 countries sitting under one roof right now are educating the rest of the world what borderlessness on Oxford Dictionary means. Oxford Dictionary said borderlessness means not having borders, but One Young World said not having borders means all of us sitting together to decide what change needs to come tomorrow. Am I right that way? You could hit it. When I was personally asked education, I really believe it's almost on each of our agenda by default, because we are educating the world by sitting here, discussing the most important pressing issues this generation is facing and bringing out solutions for them. And first of them on my mind was literacy. When I thought education, I thought literacy for a very big reason, because if that first step is not clear, illiteracy has been a problem for years now that is staring into the eyes of mankind, telling us that I'm capable of dividing you into two. One who can read and write, the others who are otherwise. But if it was one that was illiteracy, I would still be okay with that. But today, we are faced with another sibling of this illiteracy called as computer illiteracy. Was one not enough for us that we brought computers and brought the second pressing problem, computer illiteracy, to us? So my urge today, when I talk to you all for this short time, is I request all the ambassadors sitting here, what do we not have as potential? We, each of us, have immense potential to make this illiteracy go to literacy. Somebody said a while ago, and possibly in the last few days and few weeks of my work I've been hearing, illiteracy is difficult to eradicate. And Yunus sir yesterday said, do not follow rules, break them. Don't follow logic, break them. And I believe, somebody said, we need to have a huge network to make illiteracy happen and eradicate and literacy happen indeed. And I believe exactly what I started a small project with in my country, an idea called IU Literacy Project, wherein we believe in a tagline, illiterate to literate before you graduate. And that is it. We started coaching this to all the youths of our country in the last 8 months. And this December, we are launching a campaign with which I will leave you all. Because I believe action is one thing that needs to happen after a little bit of talk has happened. If after the 6 minutes, if I could get some 6 hours of each one of you in the month of December, I believe these 6 minutes will be more fruitful than any other time of my life. In this case, the campaign that we are launching is called the Desliterate campaign. Now, what is this? Desliterate campaign is, December 2nd happens to be the World Computer Literacy Day, and I thought, with one day, what could somebody do? How many people could you make literate and put up posters and photographs on Facebook saying, I made 200 people computer literate today? Why not enjoy? If you get so much pride and satisfaction in doing it on one day, why not enjoy a whole month of making people literate? And that's why we coined it as Desliterate campaign, which this December, it's the first time we're hosting, and I believe each one of you sitting here will support me at least on one of the days of December. For December 2nd, you all might be running occupied. And I invite all the people watching us on live stream around the globe to participate in this campaign, to cover literacy and computer illiteracy. Each of you will be mailed the details of how to accomplish this. And on concluding note today, I bring the example of South Korea to all of you, that South Korea about 40 years back was a struggling economy as Nepal today struggles. I've been to Nepal in my last 1 year and addressed about 200,000 people in my last 1 year. And I see South Korea stood there. And today, in 40 years, it happens to be the top 15 richest countries of the world. The reason, computers. They're going at computing speed. And I believe if we do not cover literacy in a country like mine, 33% people are computer illiterate. 33% people are illiterate. 85% people are computer illiterate. Literally, the network Facebook boasts about owning are the equal number of people who are computer illiterate in my country. Look at the vast scope of growth even Facebook has. On this note, I request you all that it's time that One Young World has taught us. It's no more an amazing news which we've been claiming for 2,000 years, that it's great to be born as a human being, but I believe it's great to die as human doing. Thank you so much, one and all, and I request you all to take back this message. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we're going to ignore the teleprompter. Ah, yes, we are going to ignore the teleprompter. I don't think you've ever met anyone quite like Catherine Uwimana. At least I certainly haven't. Catherine from Rwanda is a published author. She's written a book on primates. She's the award winner. Well, she's probably won many, many awards, but let's stick to this one. She's an award winner from the Rwanda International Conference on Technology and Education. We both agree that the best part of President Clinton's talk last night was on Rwanda. And when she is at home in her country, Catherine designs educational materials for young people using traditional storytelling methods. And when I asked her why, she said that today, a lot of the textbooks coming into Rwanda are from Europe or from America. Some are even from Uganda and Kenya, and the problem with that is that none of those are Rwandan. Catherine also writes articles. She writes across Rwanda and across Africa on technological trends, on nature sciences. And what I like most about Catherine is her stated belief in the power of love, and her belief that it's that can make us change this world, her world, for the very better. Please welcome Catherine.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Catherine, and I'm coming from Rwanda, the country of 1,000 hills. You know, in Rwanda, education for all is one of the most prioritized development strategies. And, you know, in primary school, 98% of boys and girls are enrolled in primary schools, but only 75% get to the last level. And also Rwanda is one of the least developed countries. And, you know, according to UNDP report, 60% of Rwandans live in poverty and 42% in extreme poverty. Why I'm talking about poverty and education is because poverty is the worst enemy of education. You know that. And it's really difficult to tell someone to buy books for his children when he can barely buy something such as basics, such as food, for his kids. And, you know, poverty is also the worst enemy of education because it can discourage enrollment, survival to higher grades, and also good learning at school. This can be emphasized by parental education and lack of adequate resources to learn well. But the good thing with the education is that education can be a good thing to reduce poverty by offering more opportunities to people who attended the school, and also it offers social benefits that improve the life of the poor. And to achieve quality education, much is essential. For example, there is books to read and other learning methods, all needed to stimulate the child. You know, in Rwanda, there is a campaign to promote reading amongst children, but it is difficult to reach the poor child. And, you know, only the children that are attending well-equipped schools are the only ones to have access to books. And in Rwanda, we have only one public library. And, you know, most of the children can't afford to get there where it is located. So my project is called Ibaba. And my project, we design, we develop, and distribute educational materials adapted to the Rwandan child, especially the one living in urban poverty and rural areas. At Ibaba's office, we receive children that come and we discuss, they have a place to express themselves, and also they can contribute to the projects because they have also the right to quality education. And at Ibaba office, we can receive at least 15 children per day, and it's only the beginning because we have been working for only like 3 weeks now. And you know, on the first day at my office, when I met with the children, they told me they want to have access to learning materials in Kinyarwanda, which is our mother language. They want to read stories, to learn about computers, to learn English, and to have regular open discussions to talk about chosen topics, and also to learn through plays. When they meet, they give advice to one another on hygiene, discipline, and school issues. Their mothers come to discuss women empowerment and the importance of education for their children. And for that, I'm doing my best to develop a small library and also science posters for the kids so they can learn better. From the experience, I realized I had to create a small magazine for children in Kinyarwanda. And every child at my place now is really waiting for it. And I really hope I'm doing it to the next level, and we go beyond our place and reach the very poor child in rural areas. So from the obstacles I had, I learned the importance of sacrifice, therefore understanding more the value of love. I learned patience, resilience, and communicating what I've got to say. I appreciate interactions with people more, and you know, I learn from each of them. And they showed me my dreams, my own dreams can be a trigger to awaken others' dreams. And every day I grow more excited about working with people on something like this. And you know, when I'm doing this, there is always something or someone to show me that it is worthwhile to keep moving forward. Always someone. So please be that someone to someone else. You know, you can lend a book or say an encouraging word. Someone I love recently told me that he has seen me loving what I was doing before, but this time I'm fighting badly, and I will fight with all my energy. He told me that's why he will support me. I'd like this to expand everywhere, with each one's passion. You know, it could be gender issues, social injustice, anything. But, you know, Gandhi once said, you must be the change you want to see in the world. The world starts with your family, your neighbors. It starts with your colleagues, your students, or your teachers. The world always starts with you and me. And, you know, education, well, it can be very powerful. It's because change always begins with education, because it gives us skills and information that affect our way of thinking as we used to do. I fight for education for underprivileged children because it may be the ultimate chance to get out of poverty. And because with adequate education, they can find solutions to their problems once they understand the environment they are living in. So, for me, I will never, never leave those children. You know, we are here because dreams brought us here. So guys, please let dreams bring us to the future we want to see. Thank you.
That's great. Well, thanks so much, Catherine. It's now my great honor. We're back on the one old world panel on this side now. It's my great honor to introduce Esther Botica Alonso. She grew up in Toledo in Spain. Thanks to an academic excellent scholarship, she was able to move to Madrid at age 18 to study her Masters of Science in Telecom Engineering. After her 4th year, she was chosen by her university to complete a double degree program at Paris Tech, studying telecom. While she was working in the telecom sector, she was able to collaborate with a startup that supports initiatives with socio-economic impact. Esther's also led a charity project focused on tackling digital illiteracy in an area that's at risk of social exclusion in Madrid. Esther is very passionate about technology and education as they have a direct impact on youth employment. So it's a great honor to introduce Esther.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, everyone. We, the One Young World ambassadors, pledge to take personal responsibility for improving literacy in our communities. What I'm living here with all of you is a dream. And so it was my experience as a volunteer last year in Tanzania. What I could see, feel, and learn was an incredible adventure. And I know that for some of you, it's your daily life. But for me, it gave me a different perspective on the importance of the education. Every day, at 8 in the morning, I took my bike together with another 9 volunteers to go to a little school 10 kilometers far away. First, we received 1 hour of Swahili, the local language, and after, we gave the lessons to the Tanzanian children and teenagers. As a Spanish teacher, my aim was not only that they learn a foreign language that would enable them to find a work more easily, but also that they knew about other cultures and open their eyes to the world. In one of the classes, I was teaching them the colors, red, blue, green, but there wasn't any picture in the classroom, just the white and blue of the wall, so it was quite difficult to find examples. I then realized I was wearing a Google teacher, and while using the color of each letter as example, I asked one of the girls, "Do you know about what Google is?" And I was really astonished when she said, "No." So I asked her again, "Do you know what Facebook is?" And the answer was the same. For you, leaders, using a computer represents an important connection to the world through internet. It is a powerful tool that allows you to do many things, to get informed about the latest news, to learn a new language, to keep in touch with your friends, to be here today. This may seem trivial for most of us, since we have been using a computer for a long time. However, the digital gap existing in some countries, areas, and neighborhoods hinders the access to new technologies to a lot of people, as well as their opportunities to be connected to the world. If we want to listen to the voices of all young people around the world, we must promote the access to new technologies and internet in our communities. That's what I have tried from my current position in British Telecom, to get involved in different projects focused on digital literacy. The main one is called Wire into Your Future. Through the country charity program of my company, I was successful in obtaining the necessary funds to renew the computer equipment of an ICT classroom, which belongs to a non-profit organization based in the south of Madrid, which is an area at risk of social exclusion. In this district, the unemployment rate is over 50%, and the most representative groups of beneficiaries are those more vulnerable, as may be the very young people and migrants. Indeed, the project goes beyond the computer delivery. So this October, we have started to give courses about the basic internet access, job placement, and entrepreneurship programs. The main purpose of this ICT classroom is to provide the new skills and guidance in internet and software access, as well as to offer useful tools on career development. When they have acquired the necessary knowledge, the foundation will introduce them through an orientation program that will permit them to find a job or maybe to create their own business. We believe that ICT will help to build an important bridge so these people could find a way to be part of a society where the digital knowledge is becoming each day more important, useful, and paramount. But what can we do to promote this digital inclusion? Well, the way the computer lab works is the following. The beneficiaries of today's classes will be the teachers for the tomorrow. This commitment to transmit the knowledge and education received is the basic running of the center, and also should be for us our pledge with the society. Each of us know about a school, a social lab, or a local organization that is open to the community. So I would just suggest you to go there and to offer your services as a volunteer, to teach and to transmit your knowledge. In addition to that, we should encourage our governments, maybe the most responsible of education in each of our countries, NGOs and companies, to construct centers with free access to computers and internet, to permit those who don't have means to use new technologies. For example, through the simple visits I make periodically to the hospital Infantil Niño Jesús, I help children with reduced mobility who are hospitalized, teaching them to use a computer and internet. I can testify how learning to use Google Earth can change their expectations, goals, and motivations, and therefore improve his education level. We, ambassadors, can build a better future via education. As Immanuel Kant said, humans are merely what education makes of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. What we've heard throughout this session, and what I'm really happy to see is the case for every one of these speakers, is that education today has to be about a lot more than academics. When in 2012, a 14-year-old girl is shot in the head in the Swat Valley for demanding her right to education, when the indigenous Nepalese children, as Sujit mentioned, struggle to educate themselves amidst growing food insecurity, when primary school enrollment in Iraq, which used to stand at 100%, falls just about 20% since the war started. Education has to be about more than academics. It has to be about compassion. And it has to be about compassion and community and justice. And Ahmed, over here, is another great embodiment of this idea. Ahmed Afandi grew up in a small village in Indonesia, in the Indonesian countryside. He currently serves as an English teacher to a deaf, mute, and Down syndrome school. He has founded 2 non-for-profit organizations dealing with education and the issues of interfaith harmony and anti-discrimination. And all this while still completing his bachelor's degree in English education. So please give him a warm welcome.
Good morning, fellow change makers. I'd like to tell you about Indonesia. So, I live in a countryside of Indonesia. Indonesia is such a huge country, so it consists of, I can say, 100,000 islands. Our capital is in the far east, and our capital is the far west, and someplace in far east, some places are still untouched. So I'd like to open my speech by saying that I quoted from Anonymous, people change by learning. And this quote, learning, is started from literacy. Learning or education and literacy is playing an important role in shaping people to be a better human beings. Education in all aspects, including students, teachers, curriculum, and facility, should be balanced in order to form good and sustained education. Since education for everyone is a supreme need, therefore it has to be accessible for everyone. What I found today is there are still many people in places in the world that can still hard to access education. To some countries, like me, Indonesia, as I said before, it is very hard for the government to control the education and to develop them evenly. That's because we're a big country. And then this is the time, although the government have the power, but we, youth, we have a bigger power to make a change. We have to take part in overcoming this problem. More than just hanging the future of our successors to the government, we have to also empower our surroundings. In March 2011, I got scholarship from the United States Department of State to study American English and Culture at Arizona State University for the period of 8 weeks. During this program, I learned, and I'm sad, that education in developed countries is very far, far away compared to education in developing countries. And then I realized that improvement for education in my place is needed. Right after the program, I founded an organization, a mini foundation called the Spectrum Foundation in my city. This is a way for me to provide education for everyone, especially youth coming from poorer level. I founded this organization on October 14, 2011, along with 2 of my colleagues. And our main job is to open or to literate students, especially in English. Teaching language is to decrease the illiterate people. There are 2 programs I'm currently doing in this project. The first is the Spectrum Club. I voluntarily teach university students who can afford English courses. And the second program is called the Spectrum Junior. I'm going to a small school in remote places and I teach them English for free and I assist them with books and dictionary. I found this organization from the charity I'm doing, either from Spectrum member or the fellow students. Another pressing issue of education that I see is the religious education issue. The fact that the religious school only teach their student religious exclusivity can harm the unity of a nation and even the world's peace. Future religious school should also teach religious plurality or religious tolerance instead of religious exclusivity. I founded an organization called Setara Muda Community. It's a youth interfaith community. This project exists to combat groups of people that spread hatred to other people in the name of religion. Setara Muda Community was born in February 2012. It's a community that respects diversity and desires equality among people. So although the members are coming from different faiths, but we also concern the issue of anti-discrimination, either every discrimination to poor people, to people living with HIV or LGBT. Through this, we indirectly teach people and youth the meaning and the importance of harmony and diversity. Moreover, this project is to counter some religious zealots that grow among youth and students, especially in Indonesia. Through my experience as a teacher of deaf school and mute students and the Down syndrome, I always thank God for all I have. So I always try to share every single thing that I get from experience, from knowledge that I have to my student, to everyone. Also, I'm able to take part in decreasing the number of the number of illiterate people in my society. So teaching them, my student, deaf, mute, and Down syndrome, is my primary job. With their impairments, it is very easy for people to treat them badly. Being able to read will be one of the prevention from them avoiding bad treatment from the people. I believe that everyone, including those having different ability, deserve a good education. Let's provide education and improve literacy for all together. Thank you.